Vocation Dusty Spur Diner, New Mexico. A lonely diner on an old, forgotten highway. The hot sun beat down on the desert road as a noisy, worn-out Harley pulled into the diner's parking lot. 4 more bikes followed. The Iron Dogs, a local outlaw biker gang, had been treating the diner like their personal hangout for weeks. They walked in with loud boots, squeaky leather jackets, and the heavy smell of alcohol around them. The regular customers got quiet and backed away. Only the sound of dishes clinking behind the counter stayed. Behind the counter, Evelyn Evie Cross moved quietly like a shadow. She was in her mid-30s, with quiet eyes that saw more than she let on. She didn't talk much, didn't look people in the eye, just worked and watched. To the Iron Dogs, she didn't exist, just a nobody. "Hey, sweetheart," one biker sneered, slapping the counter. "Give us some service with a smile." Another leaned closer, grinning. "Or maybe you need a little push." Evie said nothing. She just poured their coffee, calm and still. That silence irritated Big Russ, the gang's leader. He grabbed her wrist as she turned away. "I'm talking to you." She looked up, just for a second. Her eyes were cold, sharp, and calculating. One of the younger bikers actually stepped back. He didn't even know why. Russ didn't notice. "You deaf or just stupid?" Evie stayed silent. She wiped her hands on her apron, walked into the back, and didn't come out. "Guess she got scared," Russ laughed. "Let's see if the kitchen's got anything better than her attitude." The door to the back creaked open. The lights flickered. A low hum, then a scream. One biker stumbled out, nose bleeding, eyes wide. She's not normal, man." The others rushed in. Chaos broke out. Evie moved like smoke and metal. Silent, quick, deadly. She broke one biker's arm like it was dry wood, used a soup ladle as a weapon, and pinned another guy to a fridge with a broomstick. One tried pulling a knife, but she disarmed him, flipped him over, and he hit the ground hard. Russ was last. He swung a chain. She caught it, yanked him forward, and he slammed into a shelf. Crashed. Out cold. 10 seconds, maybe less. Silence. Evie stepped over them, walked back into the diner, and calmly refilled an old trucker's coffee. "Refill?" The trucker just nodded, eyes wide. 2 days later, Sheriff Dan Avery sat at the counter, sipping coffee. "So you're telling me 5 Iron Dogs were found tied up with duct tape, locked in your freezer?" Evie didn't blink. "They went where they shouldn't have." The sheriff raised an eyebrow. "You don't say much, huh?" She gave a small smirk. "Delta taught me talking's a waste of breath if the job ain't done." He leaned back, whistling. "Delta Force? No kidding." She poured him another coffee. "Not anymore. Guess they should have known better." She looked out the window. The desert sun was setting over the empty road. They will now. 2 nights later, the diner was almost empty. Wind blew sand across the parking lot and rustled the cracked neon sign. Evie moved quietly behind the counter, refilling salt shakers, restocking napkins, always keeping her back to the wall. Always knowing where the exits were. Sheriff Avery had warned her. The Iron Dogs aren't gonna take this lying down. Evie just nodded. She already knew. Flashback, 5 years ago, Afghanistan, a night mission. Silent entry. She led Viper Team 7, Delta Force's top direct action squad. Their hits were clean, sharp, surgical. But one mission went badly, very badly. She lost 3 men. Bad intel, really bad. She never forgave herself. So she disappeared, left the military, took a job where no one asked questions. Back in the present, the peace didn't last. At 11:47 p.m., 3 black trucks pulled into the diner's lot. No bikes, no gang signs. Just tough-looking men in denim and steel-toed boots. Russ had called in backup. Inside, only one customer was left. Sammy, a high school kid doing homework on his laptop. He didn't notice the trucks until the glass shattered. Men stormed in, yelling. Evie was gone. They grabbed Sammy, shoved him behind the counter. Where is she? One man spotted the swinging kitchen door. They headed in. Careful this time. Evie wasn't waiting to attack. She was setting a trap. The kitchen was empty. No sign of her. Then, click, the breaker flipped. The lights went out. The first man screamed as something yanked him into the dark. Another shook, flashlight trembling. Something fast moved above them. One by one, they were taken down, disarmed, confused, knocked out cold. By the time the sheriff arrived, Sammy had texted for help. The trucks were still running. Their owners were out cold, zip-tied in the walk-in freezer again. Sheriff Avery stared at Evie, who calmly wiped blood from her sleeve with a dish rag. I take it this ain't over. She shook her head. No, Sheriff. It's just started. 3 days later, the diner was like a war zone. Nervous locals waited outside. Sheriff Avery tried to keep things quiet, but word got out. The waitress who took down the iron dogs? People whispered, stared. Evie noticed. She always noticed. Meanwhile, outside town in a trailer, Russ met with 2 men. They didn't wear gang colors, just tactical boots, short hair, and cold eyes. Ex-military? One asked, flipping through Evie's Delta Force file. Barely redacted, thanks to a corrupt county contact. Delta Force, Russ growled. Name's Evelyn Cross. Goes by Evie now. She made us look like fools. The taller man smirked. Delta? That explains a lot. The shorter one cracked his knuckles. Let's see how she handles people who are amateurs. They were ex-Blackwater mercenaries. Dangerous. Russ leaned in. I don't want her dead. I want her humiliated. Broken. The taller one, NK, smiled. You want a ghost buried? Call exorcists. The plan. They didn't come at her directly. Too risky. Instead, they targeted the town. They spread lies, said she got kicked out of the military, that she abandoned her team, that she was unstable. Someone burned down the diner's back shed. Someone else slashed the sheriff's tires. Little things. Mind games. Sammy started getting followed after school. Evie stayed quiet, but it was a different kind of silence now. A heavier one. Then they messed up. They broke into her house. They expected a rusty shotgun, maybe a dusty metal. What they found instead was a locked room behind a pantry wall. Inside, maps from old missions, photos, communication gear, and a trunk full of gear the army pretended didn't exist. They triggered a motion sensor. Evie watched from her truck's side mirror, then picked up a phone she hadn't touched in years. The voice on the other end was sharp and clear. Viper Actual, is this real? Evie said only 2 words. Need backup. A pause. Copy that. ETA 12 hours. We're bringing the storm. She hung up, walked back into the diner, pulled off her apron, and unzipped an old canvas bag. Inside, a tactical harness, a custom Glock, and a K.A. Bear knife. Worn by time, but still deadly.